I think India is going through a very interesting transformation, and probably Bangalore is leading that transformation. Uh, so I think when the steel flyover Bada movement began, the groundwork started almost a year ago, where we were asking about saying what is citizenship and how do governments and citizens interact, right? Parallel example, I just want to do a quick poll. How many of you have wanted to register a police complaint? Show of hands, please. Okay. How many of you managed to register a police complaint? Okay. So that tells you the difference, right? It takes a lot to pursue this. Recently, there were three guys, drunken guys driving downhill, who actually almost fatally killed a guy who was cycling up a steep hill. We went ahead, and when we were there, we responded, we intervened, and we tried to get a complaint registered and all that stuff. We just realized that we don't know the law enough to make sure that the cops do the right thing, right? Almost always that when it comes to women's safety or issues of anything related to workplace harassment or anything else, the prosecution rates are extremely low. That's because either the wrong section is slapped or the evidence is not collected the right way.
Right? Sridhar, I just want to add one to this. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago, we were at the Commissioner's office at the command center. We had one of the DCP there run a tour. And it was very interesting that we talked so much about it. But do you know the number of complaints in January and February that were actually logged in at the command center? 133. Just 133 complaints lodged were related to women's issues, which is eve teasing, violence against women, potential Burmapa activation, some of that. And it's ironical. So, you're talking about the media is reporting a lot, but when you kind of add up the numbers, it's just not sitting there.
Absolutely. So somewhere what has been bothering all of us in terms of when we look at governance measures, systems, etc., is saying that you lose vital information when you need the most. You don't get access to it. What should I do if I'm in this situation, right? How do you gather evidence? How do you do something else? What are my rights when I step into a police station? Honestly, most of us don't know. So somewhere of this, if you want to disintermediate this, it's a new amount of learning, right? I mean, civics, of course, we all study, but it's not applied civics, right? I mean, we don't even know how do I kind of talk to a police officer, not really offend him, but at the same time demand what's due to me, right? So somewhere in all this thing, we always expect when something goes wrong, we'll fall on a very, very safety net that we call the government, the police, and everybody else. Somewhere the safety net is a lot of issues, and Tiger Ashok rightly flagged quite a few issues of saying that when the crisis happens, can you be forewarned? At least yourself, your rights, how do you respond to that? And somewhere today technology has transformed everything. If technology can transform the way you can imagine how you will travel, if technology can change the way how you interact with everybody else. For example, a couple of hours ago, I just took a part of the Karnataka budget and I flagged it on Facebook and I said, what do you guys think about it? And there were diverse perspectives that were being interacted upon. So technology is something, why don't we get technology into something that's so core to all of us, that is safety. Right? I remember a conversation when Hema spoke about inclusivity with Professor David Landis, who's no longer with us. He's a economic historian he was an economic historian at Harvard. A decade ago, when I was chatting up with him on development economics, I asked what could India do wrong, and India was already the India shining, and we were already doing great strides. He said, Sridhar, India still needs to make sure that it's more inclusive. The Middle East countries had all the wealth in the oil that was beneath their earth, right? But look at how they are struggling. And actually, as we speak, Saudi Arabia is taking aid from Japan, right? So they kept half of their population away from productive engagement. Right? And thankfully, Bangalore kind of skipped the rest of the country's trajectory by the call centers coming in, the IT industry booming at the right time, and we have a great amount of women who become part of the workforce. And still, we may not be there as far as the statistics that you were saying. Probably Bangalore has highest number of women in the whole of the country, but I don't know if it's 50%, but maybe not 35 to 40%. 35 to 40% is what I would get. So somewhere when we look at this whole thing, these are about breaking multiple barriers. The barrier of somebody willing to mentally wake up and step up and say, I'm willing to pursue this. I'm going to speak about this. I'm going to take it to the next step, right? Summoning that courage and saying that I'm not silent anymore. The second thing is of saying that, what is the simplest thing that will ensure that success continues to be on a higher note, right? Can somebody support and make sure that the next right thing gets done when somebody wants to complain? In all these things, the Pink Samaritan can play a huge role in giving the right amount of content at the right context, delivering context-sensitive content to somebody when he's in distress. What should I do now? 166A, right? It's about contextualizing each of this. What are my rights? And the more and more we kind of engage, the more and more we kind of evolve the platform to make sure that we get the right ecosystem helps. And and I'm really happy today that we have great amount of minds kind of helping us rethink and make sure we go to the next platform and look at saying, how can I hail help at the fastest possible time, right? It's all location specific. If some eventuality has happened, how do I get the response the earliest amount of time? And that is what the success factor of Pink Samaritan is going to be.